Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into Gary Chapman's strategic playbook for making a good relationship, well, absolutely great. We're going to capture the essentials of the 5 love languages for men in 8 minutes or less. So, no fluff, just the direct, actionable insights you need. Whether you're trying to figure out a brand new dynamic or you're looking to breathe some fresh life into a decades-long marriage, this is all about maximizing your emotional return on investment. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's talk about what I like to call the effort disconnect. The source text shares this wild, fascinating story about a guy who went completely all out for his anniversary. I mean, he printed the story of how he and his girlfriend fell in love on flyers, plastered them literally all over New York City, and even got celebrities tweeting about it. The whole thing went totally viral. Now, we hear stories like that and we either, tip our hats or we curse the guy for completely ruining the curve for the rest of us. But here's the absolute kicker. A guy might post viral anniversary flyers across the biggest city in the world. But if that massive grand gesture misses his wife's primary love language, a generic greeting card and some Chinese takeout would have achieved the exact same result. Seriously, it's not about how loud your effort is, it's about whether it actually translates. And honestly, that perfectly illustrates the core message of the material we're exploring today. To truly connect, to actually make your effort count, you've got to speak the right language. You could be the hardest working partner on the planet, but look, if you're speaking English and your partner only understands Cantonese, your message of love is simply not getting through. Everyone has a primary love language. It's like a direct expressway to their heart that touches them deep down, leaving absolutely no doubt that they are spectacularly loved. So our agenda today is pretty straightforward. We'll cover 1, the 5 love languages, 2, the no logic zone, 3, discovering your language, and 4, anger and apologies. All right, let's jump right in to section 1, the 5 love languages, which is essentially your core playbook for connection. So the foundational idea here is that there are 5 basic love languages: words of affirmation, quality time, gift giving, acts of service, and physical touch. Think about it like this. If you try to show love to a partner whose primary language is acts of service by just buying them really expensive gifts, sure, they might politely appreciate the effort, but deep down, it's going to feel completely foreign to them. They'd honestly probably rather you just empty the dishwasher. Expressing your affection in your partner's actual primary language is exactly like hitting the sweet spot on a baseball bat. You know that feeling? It just feels right. The impact is practically effortless, and the results are absolutely impressive. Which brings us to section 2, the no logic zone, and why opposites attract. Now, this brings up a really common problem. What happens when you and your partner speak completely different languages? Well, the source text shares this fantastic quote. Since when does logic have anything to do with love? It reminds us that people rarely actually marry partners who share their primary love language. Boom, welcome to the no logic zone. Pure logic would tell you that quality timers should pair up with other quality timers, right? And physical touchers should find other physical touchers. But in reality, a guy who completely thrives on words of affirmation almost always ends up falling for someone whose love tank is filled by acts of service. It's literally a cross-cultural communication challenge happening right inside your very own living room. To bridge that gap, we move to section 3, discovering your language, using 3 diagnostic questions. So question 1, what does your partner do or fail to do that hurts you most deeply? You have to look really closely at what stings the most, because the exact opposite of that specific pain point is highly likely to be your primary love language. For instance, if your partner's harsh words completely devastate you, like way more than a missed date night or a forgotten birthday gift, then words of affirmation is probably your native tongue. Pay super close attention to this, because our deepest relational wounds actually act as a hidden map pointing directly to our greatest relational needs. Moving to question 2, what have you most often requested of your partner? This one focuses entirely on your everyday complaints and asks, if you're constantly saying, hey, can we just spend some time together? Your underlying language is almost certainly quality time. If you find yourself sighing and saying, I don't think you'd ever touch me if I didn't initiate it, listen to yourself. You aren't just nagging, you're actively revealing that physical touch is your primary language. Or let's say you throw your hands up and ask, wait, you went all the way to the city and didn't bring me anything? Well, that points straight to gift giving. Basically, your everyday complaints are actually just your inner desires leaking out. And question 3, in what way do you regularly express love? Examine how you naturally, almost subconsciously show affection to others. Why? Because we typically give love in the exact same way we desperately want to receive it. So if you're the one always volunteering to fix things around the house, or you're constantly running errands just to make your partner's life a little easier, you are very likely speaking acts of service. You're basically handing them the exact currency you wish they would hand back to you. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Anger and Apologies. Consider this your advanced troubleshooting. Look, stepping outside of your comfort zone to learn a totally new emotional language is absolutely going to lead to some miscommunications, and that often leads to anger. But the text explicitly points out that anger isn't a sin. It is a perfectly natural response to falling short or feeling unappreciated. What truly matters for your relationship is how you actually choose to process that anger. When we try our best to speak a new love language and it completely fails to impress our partner, man, it is incredibly frustrating. We feel unappreciated, and yeah, we get angry. The source material emphasizes that this is a totally normal, albeit kind of combustible situation. But if you can work through that anger in a healthy way, rather than, say, wielding sarcastic words like weapons, that is going to have a massive, seismic, positive impact on your marriage. And let's be real, when you do inevitably mess up, because we all do, a well-crafted apology needs to become your ultimate go-to move. It is capable of breaking down barriers and changing the way your partner looks at you faster than almost anything else. A genuine, real apology can bring complete closure to tensions and hurt feelings that might have been sore spots for months or, honestly, even years. Think of it as the ultimate reset button. It restores intimacy and creates that much-needed incentive to just keep trying to learn each other's language. So I'll leave you with this question today. Are you stubbornly speaking your own language and constantly wondering why you aren't being heard? Or are you ready to finally learn the language that actually unlocks your partner's heart? If you enjoyed this, subscribe to In 8 Minutes and never miss what matters.